Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Bhupesh. Hope you're doing perfectly well. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who is joining in on this session. So, what we have done so far in this Grafana Alloy playlist is getting popular because we will not find much of the documentation on Grafana Alloy either on Google or on YouTube. So, why we are doing this Grafana Alloy, topic altogether? Because Grafana agent is going to get deprecated pretty soon, and then how you will get metrics, logs, and traces for from any application, whether it's Ubuntu or Kubernetes based environment. So Grafana Alloy will do all that stuff since it is an open source, open telemetry based collector that will ship everything. So a quick recap what we have done in the same playlist. First of all, we have installed a Grafana Alloy agent on a Ubuntu machine and got the matrices of node exporter and other infra metrics from Ubuntu to Grafana Cloud. Next, we did the Grafana Alloy setup onto the Kubernetes based environment and got the matrices, the bare minimum matrices. The third, we saw how to set up Grafana Alloy to get the logs from an Ubuntu box again, non Kubernetes world. And then fourth was last session was getting the logs from a Kubernetes based environment using an Helm chart. So a Kubernetes second and fourth sessions are based on Helm chart, and first and third are based on installing the agent and setting up the binaries. So let's get started what we are doing in today. So today we'll be doing something similar to number two session, but a bit different. First of all, we will install Grafana Alloy onto a Kubernetes minikube cluster using an Helm chart, and then we will capture the matrices that are coming from pods. So suppose in that namespace we have 5 pods, so all those 5 pod health status will be visible in your Alloy dashboard as well as in your Grafana cloud, matrices. And then we'll configure the tail Helm chart for getting the matrices from a custom target. Now, what are the custom targets? Like you may have a target of node export running on 9100 port, or some other target like Grafana Alloy matrices that is running on port number 12345 slash matrices. So we will capture that matrices also. So these are the two important aspects of today's video, and we'll validate everything onto the Grafana cloud. So stay tuned. It's again very important and a difficult session. Not a difficult, I mean, I would say a different session for understanding. And before we start, do not forget to like and subscribe the channel because you will find tons of videos pertaining to Grafana Open Telemetry, Kubernetes and Elasticsearch and so on. So this is my Grafana Cloud instance. If you do not know how to create a Grafana Cloud instance, just check the first video in the same playlist. You'll get to know. So you can see there are no matrices as of now. It is an empty Grafana Cloud instance. We have a Prometheus already configured. So we need to send all these matrices at here so that you'll see data floating in. Now we have a README page, how to do everything step by step. So we'll be following this step with this page just to make sure that we are on right track and just follow these steps and you'll good to go. So let me come on to my Ubuntu box. So I have a cluster which is already running. If you do not know how to create a minikube cluster, you can follow this documentation, the first documentation, so that you can understand how to spin up a minikube cluster quickly within a fraction of in a minute. So my minikube cluster is there. I can see KNS. I'm on to metrics namespace. So this namespace is already selected. And then, yeah, for doing this, we need to install Node Exporter because Node Exporter will be scraping Node Exporter matrices also. So Node Exporter is already there, but let me just first of all uninstall Node Exporter if you want, just to make sure. Let me not do it. So Node Exporter is already running. Let me see the service. K port forward, and then this service of node exporter. Just wanted to show that node exporter is running and capturing the infrastructure matrices of this cluster. It is already being used by somewhere. Let me just quickly. Okay, so let me just see whether the node exporter service is running or not. It is running. Let me just do a port forward. I did some adjustments. Now node exporter is running on this 9100 port on the same cluster. Let me see whether it is coming nicely. Yeah, node exporter is coming nicely, and I'm capturing all the infrastructure matrices from that cluster. So we are good from this step. We'll be scraping this matrices sometime later from to Grafana Cloud. Now I will install my Alloy to this minikube cluster. It's vanilla version first of all. So I'll run this command helm install namespace matrices and then Alloy, Grafana Alloy is the repository from where we are downloading the Helm chart. So I'll do this. It will install vanilla version of Grafana Alloy agent. It will not do anything. It will just run independently. Okay, so it is running fine. Now I'll configure and run Alloy in Minikube cluster using a config map. Now what is this config map? So config map is what is we are trying to pass the relevant configuration to this Helm chart so that it can run it and capture the pod related matrices. So I am just creating a config map using this file. So config map underscore pod underscore matrices.alloy. This is the file which is there in the same GitHub repository. So there are 3-4 sections. So discovery.kubernetes is one of the item within the same Grafana Alloy. So I'm discovering role is pod. Hear me out. I'm discovering role is pod. I'm saying please take all the pods from this namespace and then select. So we have already seen that this discovery.kubernetes will scan all your pods from your metrics namespace and then we'll get the matrices pertaining to all pods that are coming in this namespace. Now this is Prometheus.scrape. Uh, it is again another keyword which will scrape all your uh, this pods discovery and then we'll forward it to Prometheus remote write. Now what is happening in this remote write? So I'll talk about this in a while. So this Prometheus remote write is nothing but your Grafana cloud instance where you're sending all your Prometheus matrices. Now in addition to that, we are scraping node export matrices from this particular endpoint. So how to see that node exporter is running on which uh, cluster IP? So we'll simply see 10.43.120.34.9100. So this is the address of the node exporter. And what is the address of the Alloy? So Alloy is running on 10.43.221 and then 98. Okay, 221 and then 98. 10.43, 221 and then 98. Perfect. So what I'm saying, first of all, I'll take all the matrices coming from the pod, all the matrices coming from the node exporter at this endpoint, all the matrices coming from Alloy, and then send all these matrices to Prometheus remote write. See, I am sending 3 remote write, one from pod, one from node exporter, one from Alloy matrix, and all this going to this Grafana cloud. So if you do not know how to send matrices to Grafana cloud, please do watch my first video and learn. So it is just the URL and then a username and password. So password I've already kept it here. I'll just simply copy paste this. Correct. So this is my password. Perfect. Now I will create a config map using this configuration of Grafana Alloy. We'll come back to my this documentation which we were referring, and then we'll create a config map. First of all, let me see whether we have a config map or not. Okay, get config map. Okay, so we have a config map which is being created earlier 26 hours ago. So let me just delete this config map. Okay, now I'll get a config map using the configuration. Okay, config map created. Perfect. Now config map has been created. Now I will upgrade my Alloy Helm chart. Helm upgrade install namespace matrix Alloy. This using this values.yml file. So what is this values.yml file? Grafana Alloy pod matrices. This one. So what I'm saying, please upgrade my Alloy Helm chart and make config map not from Helm chart, but use the config map which is already there with this Alloy config and take the key value like this. So key value is this. Let's check it. Yes, key values like this. Config map pod.metric underscore metrics and dot alloy. So upgrade my Helm chart with this config map. Okay. Now I'll just run this Helm upgrade command. Come on. Okay, so I'll upgrade my Helm chart. Now I'm upgrading my Grafana Alloy with this value.ml file and with the config map. So Helm list Alloy gets updated. KGP kubectl get pods. It is upgrading. So there are certain other pods that are running in the same namespace like Fluentd and Nginx deployment. We'll talk about these things, and there's a node export running. BusyBox gets completed. This is the Grafana Alloy. So Grafana Alloy is running. Let's see the klog. First of all, do a kubectl get pod. RKDF. Okay, fine. So there's no potential error that we can see. Let me go to my Grafana cloud instance and see whether we are getting any matrices. So I'll just do a last 15 minutes. I'll refresh it. Maybe I'll refresh it here, and then I'll run my magic query, this one, to see how many matrices are really coming or not, right? Yeah, I can see matrices are there now. I'll just see how many matrices are coming. I can see 3 jobs, which is correct. So first job is name is this that we have already seen. Yeah, this is the job name, correct? Prometheus.script.pods. And then second job name is node exporter, and third job name is Alloy matrix. So we are getting all these 3 uh, jobs and pertaining to that matrices also. Now let's see whether the node exporter dashboard has been populated or not. So it should give some data now. Yeah. So node exporter dashboard is getting populated, and if I see last 15 minutes, you should get all the data from that cluster. And this is the port, the IP, the Minikube cluster IP with this port. Okay, perfect. So what we have seen, we are getting the matrices from pod, from node exporter, and from the Alloy matrices. So that is the reason this session is called about getting the matrices from pods, getting the matrices from custom target, which is this target and this target. Now let's see everything using a visualization also. Now I can see the visualization. I can, you know, check the Grafana Alloy using GUI. So I'll do a kubectl port forward. Okay, port forward on. First of all, I'll do a get SVC. Okay, port forward Alloy. Okay, this is my Alloy service that is running. Let me see what is there on this Alloy service. So Grafana Oil is running fine. So I want to show this from visualization. So there are uh, graphs. So this is the graph. So you see, first of all, we are scraping Prometheus scraping pod, which is scraping this discovery.kubernetes.pod. So it is going like this, and then doing a remote write here. And Prometheus node exporter is also doing a remote write to Grafana Cloud. And then Alloy matrix is also going to Grafana Cloud. So basically, we have done 3 scraping: one from pods, one from node exporter, and one from this Alloy matrices, and everything going to Grafana Cloud. This is the Grafana Cloud I'm talking about. You see, this is the basic auth. This is the other configuration. This is the endpoint I'm sending my Grafana Cloud details. Okay. Now let's go to the other again on the graph. Now what is the discovery Kubernetes? So I'm saying this is then my namespace. I want to. There are no selectors. We can do a selectors also. Maybe we can talk about this in our next session. So, uh, so you see, we are picking all the pods. These are the values that are coming, right? And then these are the export. Let me show you the other aspects of it. Okay, yeah, scraping. So you see, this is the pod scraping. Now, how many targets it is scraping? It is actually scraping the number of pods. You see, there's one pod uh, which is down. So it is giving the health of each and every pod also. So we can check the health from here as well. So this pod is up. So all the 7, 8 pods which are there, it's giving health of all these pods, right? And then if you come again to graph, this is the node exporter arguments. Okay, target. This is the node exporter, the same IP minikube cluster IP 91 and then flash matrices. So all matrices are coming from here, right? and then this is the alloy matrices. So that is pretty much. I want to give a quick recap what we have done. So first of all, we installed the node exporter, which is a straightforward Helm chart, to capture the infrastructure matrices from that cluster, so that we can do a health monitoring. And we have seen that thing on this dashboard also, the node exporter dashboard, right? It's coming. All the data is coming nicely, right? Hardware system D. Next, we installed Grafana Alloy vanilla version, and then we modify the configuration of config map to send the matrices from pod, to send the matrices from custom targets like node exporter and Grafana Alloy, and then we validate all the matrices on Grafana Cloud. So this was a unique session in comparison to session number 2, where we talked about Grafana pod as well as the endpoint, node exporter and the other endpoint, Alloy endpoint. So yeah, that is pretty much. Let's first of all show you one more thing, how you can drill down the matrices. So what we have seen, you can see all the matrices from here. Suppose I we want to do double click of each job. So I want to see node exporter matrices. So I can do like this. So if you really want to understand PromQL, you can see my session on PromQL from the Grafana playlist. So what I'm saying, please count the distinct matrices under this job node exporter. So that I'm getting all these distinct matrices. This is all node exporter matrices. Now I'll show you the same thing. Okay, I'll now do a double click on the this matrices job. Okay, so I want to get there are close to 1700 matrices that are coming from this Prometheus scrape pod. Okay, now I'll do mm, distinct matrices coming from this job. Okay, so I can get all distinct coming from this job name. Now let me do one more thing on this. Uh, up. Okay, so this is one of the matrices. Suppose I want to see up matrix. I think you can. So anyway, we are not doing a from QL session today, but you can select any matrices like this. Okay, like this. Okay, and then you select the labels instance. Okay, so what I want to show you. Suppose this is an instance, correct? So this is the instance. And what is this instance? Let me just run this. I want to show this thing. So what I'm trying to understand, and this is coming from this. Okay, will I get something? Yes, I will get everything. Now you see, Prometheus scrape pods is having how many pods? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pods. So do I have 7 pods here? Let me just do a KGP. KGP. I have around close to 7 pods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all I have all 7 pods, and the up down status. So only one is down, rest all is up. Only one is down, the rest all is up. This pod is down, right? And then node exporter is up and this is up. So these are all the instances that are running right on this. So if I do KGP minus O wide, so I can get the IPs also, right? So I can see which pod is linked to which IP. So this is just a double click how I can understand my matrices coming from which job and then which instance and so on. So a quick recap. I mean, we have already done the recap. I'll take a pause. If you have any further queries, please put down into the comment section. And if you're really looking for any kind of special use case using Grafana Alloy, please drop a note on any of my communication channel. We'll try to have a look at the weekend, and we'll try to resolve it. Till then, and last but not the least, do not forget to like and subscribe the channel for more videos, something like this. Till then, goodbye. See you later. Bye bye.